Welcome to Nerd Sports. Today we're going to talk about cornfields, from what Johnny told me.
Oh, yes. Yeah, cornfields. Last week on Thursday was the Field of Dreams game that was a year late because of COVID.
Wait a minute. I got cornfield stuff pulled up. Let me change this stuff out real quick. I misjudged.
Agriculture has just very little to do with it.
You basically just told me it was a cornfield game. I heard cornfield in there. I guess my dyslexia hit up again to the wrong in this one.
All right, so yeah, the Field of Dreams game. Two words: magical and perfection is the only words that you can use to describe this game.
I mean, they did, and yes, I actually did a little bit more research. They did like $5 million to produce this game.
Yeah, they built this field. It is a permanent fixture now.
Yeah.
The original field is still up, and it's by the original farmhouse, which is rentable by the weekend for like $2,300, I think. But you get full access to the house and use of the field for an entire weekend. And to me, $2,300, yeah, that's totally worth it, just to go out and have a game of catch.
If you're into that stuff, and yeah, there's certain things that I really don't get into that you do get into, and I'll still go with you just because, you know, it's something to say. It's like, oh, I've done this. It's like, yeah, that's cool.
Well, I mean, think about it. They made this movie 30 years ago, and this movie has literally stood the test of time. I mean, it is still a favorite.
They don't make movies like this anymore.
They don't.
Back in the 80s, they really did have a lot of movies that it's the test of time.
Yeah.
It will always, I mean, if it comes on, you watch it.
Now, movies nowadays, I mean, you see them, and they've got a lot of the great special effects, the CGI, everything's on point. But, you know, it's as soon as the next latest and greatest in CGI comes out, that movie's forgotten about.
It's kind of cookie cutter, really.
It is, but I wrote something here for that game, so I'm gonna go ahead and let's get into this.
Time
here.
For David to zone out.
Zone out. Well, yeah, because you know you've already heard it because I read it to you beforehand. So
I liked it. It's a very good eye opener and heartfelt.
So, was it heaven, or was it as close as we will get on this earth? A field built from scratch, capable of holding less than 8,000 people, placed in the middle of a cornfield, mere feet from the original movie set in the same field. This was the Field of Dreams game. The afternoon sky looked as if it were painted by God himself. The corn stalks swayed in the afternoon breeze. Not a better script could have been written for the stage that was about to embark upon a magical journey that took the spectators both in person and in radio and TV alike back in time. The Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees strode out from the cornfield from behind Kevin Costner. It was beautifully done, and one of the few things that Major League Baseball has done right this year. Words could not do justice to the nostalgia and the poetic perfection that the game was due. In an era where the commissioner and the rules committee seemed to cloud up the game that we love, this game was the picture of perfection. The soundtrack from the movie provided the emotional backdrop for this long-awaited dream. Home runs that disappeared into the corn, and the ultimate culmination of the walk-off home run shot by Tim Anderson of the White Sox showed why this game must be protected from unnecessary rule changes and overcomplication through computers and looming robotic strike zones. This game was pure. Both teams walked out onto the field from the cornstalks wearing uniforms thrown back to the 1919 season. The simplicity of the uniforms was a welcome calling card from an era gone by when things in the game and in the world were simpler. We didn't have to worry about the sticky stuff or spin rates. We didn't worry about launch angles or $300+ million contracts. This game was supposed to be a promise fulfilled by Major League Baseball, but it transcended into something much larger. It became the stark reminder of what our game used to be and needs to become again. The simple perfection of the game is something that is complex and yet incredibly simple to understand. The game takes on many forms across our great country. Sandlot games, open fields, purpose-built diamonds, one-way streets, and even backyards. All iterations of this game, our game, gives us refuge from the world around us and the turmoil that boils just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. If you build it, they will come. Major League Baseball built it, and the fans of our great game did in fact come. They tuned in, and they listened. Ray, people will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons that they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children longing for the past. Of course, we don't mind if you look around, you'll say, it's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it, for it's money they have and peace they lack. And they'll walk out to the bleachers and sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find that they've reserved seating somewhere along one of the baselines where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game, and it'll be as if they dipped themselves in magical waters. The memories will be so thick that they'll have to brush them away from their faces. People will come, Ray. And the one constant through all the years has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard and rebuilt and erased again, but baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that was once good and could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come. And the only thing left to ask was, as Kevin Costner asked, is this heaven? And while the movie script stated that it was just Iowa, this game, this afternoon, was in fact heaven.
That was great and wonderful. Now, going off of the news of this one.
Oh my God, dude.
That was good.
That was great and wonderful.
That was great and wonderful. I don't know how to. It's one of those things you just can't really say anything. Just expounding to that. You're like, what do I say after? It was great and wonderful. Yay! At least I didn't do it like that. And just because that was a really good. You took your time. It really worked out. It was a really good speech. But no, to get on the news of this, the White Sox did beat the New York Yankees in that game.
So as of right now, the Yankees are the only Major League Baseball team to lose in the state of Iowa. So
wait until next year.
Yeah, when the Reds and the Cubs play, yeah.
If at any point in time you're interested in going this game next year, it is $1,400 to go to the game. Whew. Yeah, the tickets are $1,400. And another notable thing they did when they're out in the field, they grabbed the corn and started eating it, and it's not sweet corn, it's feed corn.
Yeah.
So it has no real flavor to it or anything like that. So, yeah, they spit it right back out as soon as they ate it.
But that'll teach them, because, it's like you're screwing with somebody's crops at that point. I mean, I get it. It's maybe an ear or two, maybe 5 years, 6 years of corn, because not everybody's going to be like, oh, well, maybe it'll taste different for me. But, there was one thing that I saw. There was some Yankees pitchers that had an ear of corn in their hand, standing on the pitcher's mound, and they were like, doing mock pitches with a corn cob in their hand. I'm sitting there going,
it was entertaining. I mean, you had to look at that aspect. And the actual guy that played the father of Kevin Costner's character, Dwyer Brown, he goes there almost constantly just to do charity events and whatnot.
Yeah.
and he bought like a little business for the town. And by the way, if you actually go get a chance to go out there and everything, we're talking about almost nothing there.
Yeah, Dyersville, Iowa. That is, I mean, when Hollywood came and it was like, hey, we want to film a movie out here. Here's what we want to do. If I remember right, they almost got laughed out of town.
Yeah.
But once the city council came in and said, you know what, all right, somebody's just got to donate the land, and the farmer that used to own that land, at least that section of land, he made out pretty well.
Oh yeah.
And the farmhouse has had it's changed hands a couple of times. There was a woman who did own the farmhouse and the original baseball field. Because after like 20 years or so, the field had grown over and they replanted corn. So they went out. She paid and rebuilt the field to the specifications of the movie set. And little leaguers in that area, they play on that field. I bet
that would be awesome.
No, they play on that field, like literally. And I mean, dudes are hitting home runs. I mean, little guys are hitting home runs into the corn. And I mean, it's just absolutely mind-blowingly cool. But yeah, like I stated at the top of the episode, it's 23, 24, $2,500 for a weekend to just kind of soak in that atmosphere. I mean, you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's absolutely nothing to do. The general store, I'm sure, has been modernized at this point, but it's still just a general store for feed and seed and stuff like that. And you got those old timers that are sitting around chewing on a block of chaw and spitting into spittoons or whatever it is that they're doing now. I mean,
that would be hilarious.
It would
still
be.
Have that. I mean, that's Wild West stuff.
Yeah, it would.
Now, do we want to go keep up with baseball news, or do you want to skip over? Because I really want to do this story. Probably you want to do it last part of it because it's really messed up.
Yeah, well,
the
yes.
one I just did sent you.
Yeah, I'll check it out in here in just a second. All right, so something that I do want to bring up that is just another reason why I love this game as much as I do. Let me see if I can find it here. I did have it.
Well, while you're looking at that,
yeah, go ahead.
Washington football team narrows the list of possibility new names down to 3 finals. Now, they didn't give any kind of spoilers of what actually they are going to actually have, but they're narrowing it down to 3, and it only took them like almost a year and a half to get a new name because they don't want to associate with the Washington Redskins because apparently the woke crowd just wants to get their claws into everything that they think is to me it's just the basic fact of it's just a couple of rich white women that think they know best for everybody else.
Yeah, well, not to add, well, yeah, I'm totally intentionally adding that local flair for the dramatic here, but a couple of rich white women on the school board for the new schools that we've got coming into town. They don't want anything to do with the previous names for any of the high schools that are here. Instead, they want to go with something new. Oh, we want to start new traditions, start over from scratch. Like, how about a whole lot of no? Anyway, go ahead.
I want it to be the one for community, and I want the logo to be the one from community, which is looks like a starfish. When I buy starfish, I mean butthole.
Yes.
or even go with accepted. The shitheads.
Yes. Yeah.
South Harmon Institute of Technology made it shitheads.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
That I would pay good money. I'd just go to the thing. It's like the shithead fine. Hell yeah, let's go.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let me see here.
But in other news, what was that other latest thing? Brett Favre is actually doing a no-tackle football for kids under 14.
I'm sorry.
What?
That just seems kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? That seems kind of appropriate considering Brett Favre is broke down. He's having to sell these god awful copper wire compression fittings on your for your body thing. The fact that broke down, past his prime, to the point where he's almost irrelevant. Brett Favre is starting a no tackle football league.
I can almost guarantee that. No, he's rich.
I mean, the guy's not hurting for money. Let's make no mistake about that.
Yeah.
But
you also got to look at the basic fact of look at what George Foreman did. I mean, he did the whole George Foreman grill. I mean, he's in the billions now because of that.
And to quote Lois Griffin from Family Guy, doesn't it seem kind of tragic that George Foreman's out there selling grills, making millions of dollars, while Muhammad Ali can't even speak English anymore? I mean, granted, yes, I know Muhammad Ali is dead, but...
Well, you're absolutely right. He can't speak English. So...
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay,
so...
I love our dark humor sometimes.
It is, yeah. So are you done, or you got more?
Other than the Felipe Vasquez.
Okay, so put a pin in that for real quick.
Okay.
All right, so on Saturday, the 14th, Saturday was the 14th. So Tyler Gilbert just gets called up and makes his major league debut to pitch for the Arizona Diamondbacks, right? They're playing against the San Diego Padres.
Okay.
A year ago, when the minor league season was canceled because of COVID, Tyler Gilbert, I cannot speak today. Tyler Gilbert, Scotch, there we go, was working as an electrician.
Don't ever do that again. We do that beforehand, before we start the episode, because that was just ridiculous.
Scotch. Anyways, he was working.
We'll do the whole Anchorman next time before we actually get on air, so you don't have to do that.
Don't you question me. I'm a man. I'm an anchor man. No, so there we go. All right, so Tyler Gilbert was working as an electrician with his dad to make ends meet while he was throwing bullpen sessions in between, just to kind of stay in shape.
Yeah.
Well, he gets called up Saturday night at Chase Field with the Diamondbacks. He's a left-hander. He gets called up. He's making his debut, right? He's playing against the red-hot, as of late, San Diego Padres, right? This kid goes out in his first big league start and throws a no-hitter.
Oh, wow.
A 7-0 victory over the Padres, right?
That's an underdog story, right?
I'm telling you, right? He allowed 3 walks, all to leadoff hitter Tommy Pham, while striking out 5 and throwing 102 pitches. So this is his first start in the major leagues. Nerves are through the roof, I'm sure. The fact that he was able to keep it at 102 pitches, absolutely mind-blowing. And the dude...
Don't they only go like 60, 70 pitches?
In the era of pitch counts, yeah, I mean, they generally tend to... I mean, if you're an established starter and you know that, and you've demonstrated that you've got filthy stuff into the late innings, they'll let you hit that 100 pitch mark. But this guy, it was his first start. Now, to be fair, Arizona's not going anywhere near the playoffs this year, period. I mean, their season is just horrible.
They're not going to pull out the Oakland A's.
No, I mean, there's something like 40-something games back of not only first place, but the wild card. So, yeah, they're done. They'd be lucky if they even get close to the 500 mark for the season. But Torey Lovullo, who was he was a bench coach for Boston a few years ago, so he got a managerial job working in Arizona. I mean, it's he just
astounding.
Yeah, I mean, this guy
lost for words apparently too.
Comes in out of nowhere, and his dad. They kept showing his dad up in the stands. And, of course, I mean, rightfully so, his dad is just beside himself emotional, right? Like, that's my boy out there. Twirling a no-hitter, right? I mean, even if he had lost the no-hitter.
Could you imagine his dad doing a curly go.
Shit. But I mean, the kid's just 27 years old. He's he's become only the fourth pitcher in Major League history to throw a no-hitter in his debut. The last pitcher to do it was, and this is the legitimate name, Bobo Holloman in 1953.
Oh, wow.
The other two happened before 1900.
Damn.
So we've got a kid playing in the modern era, makes his Major League debut.
Well, also, if you think about it and look at it, he didn't stop practicing.
No, he didn't. He stayed in shape, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just the fact that.
But you're going to that mindset of actually going to a big game and everything that you
Yeah.
looked up at as a kid and everything. That's where you actually.
Yeah, and he's old enough to where, you know, the Diamondbacks have been an established team. I mean, it was only the third no-hitter in Diamondbacks history. The other two was a perfect game thrown by Randy Johnson in 2004. And that one was against the Braves, and Edwin Jackson no-hit the Rays in 2010. But both were on the road. But Gilbert now, not only does he have the distinction of being one of only 4 pitchers to throw a no-hitter in his debut, but he became the first Diamondback pitcher to throw a perfect game at home. I mean, not a perfect game, but he threw a no-hitter at home. So, you know, and I'm just like sitting there going, think about the odds of that. And they're just so astronomical. I mean, it's mind-blowing. There have been 8 no-hitters this season. Okay, and which I still think it's a crappy deal for Madison Bumgarner, because he threw a no-hitter over 7 innings, and it was a complete game. But it was one of those doubleheader games where this year they shortened the doubleheaders to 7 innings. But because it wasn't a complete 9-inning game, Major League Baseball said
the one that you kept on talking about that they needed to stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But what's funny is that Ken Rosenthal, he's a reporter for Fox News, Fox Sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
When baseball started cracking down on sticky substances for pitchers,
Which I still don't understand how that's gonna give you kind of.
it gives you grip to where you can put more spin on the ball, to where you can make your pitches move differently than it would be if you had a normal grip, right? Simply hours before game time, Ken Rosenthal says, now that we're past the era of sticky stuff, or now that we're done with all the sticky stuff scandal, I think the era or the age of the no-hitter is done.
I seriously doubt that.
Yeah, I doubt it too, because I mean, if you look at it, even from a passive standpoint, say somebody like yourself who doesn't necessarily watch a lot of sports, let alone baseball, the law of averages is going to catch up with you. I mean, it's like driving a car. The law of averages is going to catch up with you eventually, and you're going to get into a fender bender at least once or twice in your life. You know, whether they're your fault or not, it's all about averages.
Oh wow. Well, actually, we have actual breaking news right now, and that just happened like 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, what's up?
Tim Tebow released by the Jaguars in his tight experimental that I'm grateful for the chance.
Yeah, I saw that when we were at work earlier today. I was kind of mad about it because I took the time to order a Tim Tebow jersey to wear to the Cowboys game at the end of the month.
Oh, that sucks.
And now he's not even freaking be there. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And it's like, okay, what was the point of even bringing him in? You know, bringing him in, having him change positions with no intention of signing him? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, the guy's been playing baseball for the last 2-3 years, and you're expecting him to come in and be in football shape. Like, okay, those are 2 different sets of muscle groups, 2 different skill sets. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, you had one bad game of blocking, and the one time that he was targeted for a throw, his teammate came over and stole the damn pass. So, yeah, I'm still a Tim Tebow believer. I think that I think the guy is he's gonna land on his feet. He's gonna have a job somewhere. But You know what? Screw it. I'm still going to wear the damn jersey.
There you go.
And I don't care. Just because I can't bring it on. I can't bring myself to wear a Cowboys jersey. I just can't do it.
I wore it when I was young, but after that, I got out of the.
My girlfriend and her sister, they're gonna wear their Cowboys jerseys, and that's fine. That's all. That's up to them. You know, they do them, and that's good. Great, awesome, great. You know.
I wonder how much they actually made because people buying Tim Tebow jerseys that actually like them. He's just a wonderful guy. I don't know why just looking at all of his stuff that he does for charities and everything like that, it's just remarkable. He's one of the few people that I wouldn't mind having a sit down chat with.
So the top 8 jerseys, starting at number 8, as in order of sales for the NFL. Number 8, Justin Herbert. Number 7, Najee Harris. Number 6, Russell Wilson, who's quarterback for the Seahawks. Number 5, Tom Brady. Number 4, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback for the Jaguars. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, Justin Fields. Number 1 selling jersey before the season starts, Tim Tebow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'd kept him on the team just for the namesake, man.
I mean, I don't know. I honestly think if he doesn't land somewhere else,
someone's going to sign him just for that.
See, the problem with signing him as a publicity stunt is
they're going to want to see him play.
Well, yeah, they're going to want to see him play. And I'm not saying that the guy's without skill. He's got skill, obviously. The guy won a Heisman Trophy. He won 2 national championships, as a collegiate player. And, it just...
You're lost for words again.
I would, I am, because if I was a general manager of an NFL team, I'd just for the sake of having this guy in the locker room. He doesn't even have to start. Sign him to a contract, and he doesn't have to start. He could be like your third string tight end. Who cares? Have the guy in the locker room. The guy can be a leader. He's going to eventually see playing time. He's going to get those reps. Sign him to a damn practice squad. I don't care. Get this guy in a uniform. Put him on the field. Just keep this guy employed. Because whether or not the NFL chooses to acknowledge it, they need people like Tim Tebow. People with actual convictions that are going to stand by their faith, and they're going to do the things that they say that they're going to do. And they're going to do it without the public perception in mind. They're going to do it because they feel convicted to do it.
Yeah. Well, last but not least is the dark part of our show. The reason why I say a dark part, ex-Padres closer Felipe Vasquez gets 2 to 4 years in prison after sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl, which, in my opinion,
burn him.
I don't think 2 to 4 years is good enough. Money does get you a little bit better lawyers and everything, but he was charged with over 20 felonies and was denied bail, and he only gets 2 to 4 years. It's stupid ridiculous. One, if you've actually followed the show and everything, and you know my opinion about people that does pedophilia, and they will never find the grave, in my opinion. I would make sure that grave is very hidden.
Yeah.
And you are a better part of the world only because you're going to be fertilizer.
Exactly. It's just
it's stupid ridiculous. But he was only found guilty of 15 counts in May including 10 counts of sexual abuse of a child, 2 counts of unlawful contact with a minor, and 1 count each of solitary sexual assault and indecency.
Indecency, yeah.
There you go. Sexual assault and corruption of a minor. I mean, just this is what gets me on stuff like this. It's stuff like this that little girl is going to be traumatized for the rest of her life, and by the time that she gets out of high school, he's going to be back trying to get into life or some shit like that. Some of them are repeat offenders, so actually I think it's like 85% are repeat offenders.
Right.
Very high numbers for that stuff. But it's just ridiculous how much time they don't get. I really hate pedophiles.
Yeah, I mean, guys like that, dude, they're just shit pumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
No, shit pump is above him. Yeah, that's too good. Too good of a word, yeah.
Like I said, I think more monsters. People like that are just monsters. They're just horrible, horrible monsters that shouldn't.
Do you think the word fuck knuckle or fuck knuckle would be applicable here?
I'm going with bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks? Because he's going to see a lot of that in person.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they do not. There is one guy that when I was working corrections, that he sexually assaulted a girl, and he is now effectively mentally challenged because they beat the shit out of him to the point to where he was his brain injuries are so intense that he's mentally challenged now, which I'm
okay with that.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. And they call them chomos in prison.
Yep, chomo.
But they're really, other than the Phil and Dreams thing, there was another thing I was going to talk about is Kevin Costner did show up for the Phil and Dreams. But he only made like a quick appearance. He was like, I'm out here. Okay, bye guys, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, he, I don't, yeah, you're right. I didn't think he stuck around too long.
No, I think. It's so sad that I come up with like stuff on that, and then we have to research it, so we're not talking for the next couple of minutes, which we got to stop that somehow. We got to. But I end up saying some ridiculous things, and I'm like, fuck, now I have.
I just think that's funny. We're just like, what do we do with our hands?
That's how it usually no, he stayed a little bit longer than I was talking. But another thing that people are having troubles with, and this is all over right now, and it's I mean, Ross Patterson, the host of Drinking Bros, where I got most of my information from, because he did an interview with Brown on the field, but they can only do. It was really strange. They got a chance to do interviews, but they couldn't. They got to do it on the field.
Yeah.
They don't have any pictures of that, only because of Fox owns the rights.
Yeah.
So they couldn't do it. He can't do a video show, but they do the audio show only.
Right.
But it was a good heartfelt, because he actually brought his dad too, which it's something for Field of Dreams people. I mean, I've even seen the movie. I love the movie, And the whole factor of reconnecting with your father. I mean, even Brown was saying it's like they grown men has broken down crying in front of me because of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's one of those movies that if you want to, unless your dad's like a shit pump, but if you want to reconnect with your father and everything, that movie will reconnect with you and everything. But now he stayed for a little bit more time. But another thing that people are having problems right now with is the plane ride, because Ross's wife was supposed to go, but the plane kept on getting delayed. He ended up getting on a plane like at 4:00 in the morning.
Right.
So, but other than that in the sports news, we really don't have anything else on that, unless something else comes up that I'm not seeing anything like that pops out.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything like that either, but yeah, I mean, nothing real big. Preseason week 1 went down last weekend for the NFL. I really don't want to break down a lot of preseason stuff just because a lot of the names that you're going to see in those box scores, they're just not going to be there next week.
No.
Yeah.
So,
case in point, Tim Tebow, but
most of our NFL news would probably be next week, because that's when the actual season actually begins.
Well, no, not next week. No, it's in September when it starts.
Is it?
Yeah. Because the game that I'm going to is the last preseason game.
Which is going to be September 10th, yeah?
Yeah.
And ends on January 3rd. That's one thing I like about football. It's really fast. But, in closing notes, I'm David Dickerman.
I'm Johnny Skelton.
And this is Nerd Sports.
Keep it classy, San Diego.